Hello and welcome to our channel. I don't know. I'm just gonna start off by saying my name is Juliana. I go by many different things. And this is a story time of how I ended up in this situation. I'm a 15-year-old mom. I got a 7-month-old baby boy. I gotta be quiet. He's asleep right now, just over there. So yeah, well, I'm just gonna start off. I found out I was pregnant just a month or two after my 14th birthday. It was scary. It was really scary. I didn't know what to do. I was scared, obviously, as anyone in that situation would be. I came home, I texted my mom, I asked her when she was getting home, and when she got home I got in her car and I just showed her the pregnancy test and was basically like, you know, like it happened, and she's like, okay, you know, we gotta tell your dad. And so we came inside, she called my stepdad in, and we told him. He was angry. My mom was a lot calmer than I thought she was going to be. My dad was asleep. We called him. His girlfriend at the time had answered and woke him up, basically let him know what was going on, and he kind of said okay. He was tired, he went back to sleep. We talked about it more the next day. So then basically my mom had called Leland's mom, which is my boyfriend's name, had her come over, had her bring his stepdad. We all sat in the living room, basically talking about what we were going to do. I had no clue at this point. We were talking about keeping the baby, but at the same time, I didn't know for sure if I wanted to do that. His mom was like, you know, I don't believe in abortion or adoption, and I was like, whatever, you know. My mom, she's like, I will let you do whatever you want to do with this. It is your body, whatever. But she was also pushing keeping the baby. I don't know. Long story short, we kept him. And for the longest time, I was resenting it, I think, a lot. It was hard. I was in the middle of my 8th grade year when I found out, because I'd found out back in November, and going to school after that, it was like everybody instantly knew, and everyone was talking about it. A lot of people would come up to me and they're like, oh, what are you gonna name it? What are you gonna, like, asking me a bunch of questions, people I didn't even know. And it was overwhelming, for sure. And I mean, I made it through the rest of that school year. I was big by the end of the year. I had him in July of 2024. So I was popping. And I remember taking a math test. It was towards the very end of the year. We're all separated, and I was big. I was just wearing a t-shirt, so you could kind of see the bump, whatever. I didn't really care to hide it at that point. And you could see him kicking through the shirt, and everyone just kept looking over and kind of smiling. I mean, I didn't really lose any friends from becoming pregnant. That wasn't really the problem. It's afterwards, after you have the baby, when you can't go out all the time, you can't go be a part of all of it. You have to take care of that baby. That is your responsibility now. So that's when you start kind of losing friends, or you just stop talking to them. It happens. It'll happen whether you have a baby or not. Different things pop up, like, I don't know. So I do have one friend who stayed loyal. I mean, I've got more, but this one, we've been friends since we were 5. He's been amazing to me during this, very supportive. He's come over, he came to the hospital when I had the baby, well, after I had him, and he's just been great. Leland's okay with him. He is fruity. He's always been that way. He's a good kid, you know, we're the same age, but he's nice when he wants to be. Anyways, fast forward a little bit. My baby shower, I don't remember how many weeks I was. It was nice. It was Lion King themed. It was really cute. I had Leland's whole family there. My family, there was a wedding that day, so that a lot of them couldn't make it. I didn't know about the wedding when we were planning, but oh well. My dad didn't go. His side didn't go, but they had given me stuff for the baby afterwards, like the presents they would have given me at the baby shower afterwards, just separately, whatever. They live further out. Yeah, Leland's sister was pregnant about a week or two ahead of me, so we were super close, neck and neck. It was kind of like who's gonna have their baby first type of thing, and she ended up having hers first. Oh well. And I don't know, I think we can kind of bond over that a little bit. I don't know, it's interesting. There's a lot of babies right now. Everybody's got a baby. Yeah, we got some pictures together. I don't know, thinking back to the first ultrasound I had, I was 6 weeks and 1 day. So I was 5 weeks something when I found out I was pregnant. Went in, had a blood test, confirmed it, and then after that, I mean, I got my first ultrasound, and it was just a belly one. They saw everything they needed to with that one, so we didn't have to do a transvaginal ultrasound, which I was thankful for because I really did not want to do that. Yeah, it was nice. Not really, it was scary and I didn't know what to think, but yeah, so I'll probably put a picture of the ultrasound somewhere up here. I'm not sure. The second one, it was okay. I mean, everything was how it was supposed to be. I found out I was having a baby boy. Well, I found out at 12 weeks through a blood test, but the ultrasound also kind of confirmed that for me. I found out I was having a baby boy, which was whatever, you know. I wasn't thrilled about the pregnancy, and it wasn't gonna change whether I had a girl or a boy. It was what it was, basically. Yeah, and then I had to have a third ultrasound because the doctor I had just liked to do an extra one towards the end of pregnancy to make sure everything's still okay and basically what he's working with, whatever. The pictures in that ultrasound didn't turn out too great. You could barely see him because he was just so big in there. I thought he was gonna be huge. He was only 7 pounds 4 ounces, but oh well. I found out my blood was RH negative, so I had to get, I don't remember what it was called, I don't remember what the shot's called, but I had to get one. And my mom told me, because she works at that hospital where I was getting all my stuff done at, she told me they'll generally give it to you in your arm at that hospital. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's not what they did. They gave it to me in my bottom. It was not fun. It was not. And Leland was laughing at me the whole time. I couldn't even look him in the eyes. It was humiliating, but oh well, I had to do that. And then when I gave birth, right afterwards, they had to give me another shot, but they gave it to me in my thigh. Yeah. So the birth was not that bad. I don't think. The contractions for me were like, they're a breeze, really. Except for the very end, those ones hurt really bad. Like, I felt like I couldn't see, like, it was whatever. I could do it though, like I could do it. I got the epidural maybe 10 minutes before the baby came out. So, but I went in to be induced on the 21st of July because I was ready to be done. I was just so ready to be done. I was 39 weeks, and I ended up throwing myself into labor. Shocker. I was already, I think it was 3 or 4 centimeters dilated when I went in, and I had been having like Braxton Hicks for a couple weeks leading up to that, whatever, you know, and I started progressing really fast. They were surprised I was doing so well. I mean, I was fine through most of those contractions. I got up, I went to the bathroom. I think I walked around a lot, and that helped me personally, and I used the yoga ball a lot. I got a picture of Leland holding my gown shut while I was jumping, and he was rubbing my back. It was sweet. He stayed there with me while I was having the baby, and the nights that I stayed. He wasn't a whole lot of help in the hospital, but he was sleeping, getting rested so that maybe I could sleep a little later on while he watched the baby. I don't know. So I ended up getting the epidural. I was like 8 centimeters, I think, and I was progressing fast. So the night I went in, they're like, you might have this baby or either early in the morning or tonight. And I was like, oh, you know, not complaining. I mean, I'm ready to be done, so let's get this over with. I ended up having him at 11:34 in the morning on the 22nd, which I'm not complaining because I don't remember what time I went in. It was about 5 something in the afternoon or evening, 5 or 6. It wasn't too bad. And so when I did my practice pushes, they said I was doing amazing. His heart rate kept dropping when I was at about 9.5 centimeters. So they had me flipping around like a rotisserie chicken, constantly flipping me. My dad and his girlfriend, well, his now wife, were there too. They left the room while I was being flipped like a chicken because they didn't want to see my butt. Oh well. My brother was there too, my little brother, and my mom was there, and my boyfriend was there. Obviously, it's his baby, he's gonna be there, you know. And so they had me flipping constantly, and I finally had fully dilated. They had a surgical team ready because they thought for sure I was going to need a C-section with the way his heart rate kept dropping, and everything was just, it was getting really close, you know. And I ended up pushing them out before that had to happen, so that was great. But we started doing the practice pushes. They said I was doing amazing. When I did a couple practice pushes, and they're like, okay, you got this, you know. They called the doctor in, and I don't know, I think it was maybe like anywhere from 3 to 5 pushes, and he was out. It didn't take long at all. I didn't know what I was doing, but I guess I had the basic gist of it. Leland was in the room holding my hand, and I was in so much pain at this point. Like, my mom's like, do you want me to leave the room? Because she knew initially I didn't want anybody except me and Leland in there and the doctors, whatever. And I said, I don't care. Like, I don't care at this point, you know? So she stood way back behind my head, let me and Leland do our thing, but she was there just in case she was needed. And Leland held my hand and my leg, and I held my other leg with the nurse. And then he was coming out, and his shoulder got stuck. So the nurse put her knee into my side and her whole body weight on me to push him the rest of the way out, and that caused some issues with my hip now. So I've got sciatic nerve pain along with my hip. I have to do physical therapy for my hip. I haven't started that yet. I just went to the pain appointment in January. I haven't got it set up yet. Haven't had time really. It's hard to find time now. He's been fussy. We just got over the flu. I've been meaning to start this channel for a long time and just have not had time. It's been crazy. And yeah, so I don't know what's wrong with my hips. I had to go get an x-ray, and that was okay. Like, it was okay. But I have to do physical therapy, and then I've got a consultation with that same pain management doctor. He's friends with my mom. They work together, so whatever. And he had actually helped me get some of the baby items when I was pregnant. because his wife had a baby recently. Him and his wife had a daughter, and I don't know, he wanted to help out. He had stuff that they were ready to get rid of, so he helped me out a lot with that, and I'm thankful for that, because that was so much more that we wouldn't have had, and a lot of it was really, really useful, and we used all of it. I mean, it was nice. He had given us a nice bassinet that had wheels. I could bring Anthony wherever, in the, like, out here, and he refused to sleep in my room for the first, I want to say, month or two. So I had to sleep on the couch. Like, I don't know what it was. I had him in the same bassinet, in the same position, like, it was the same, but he did not want to be in my room. I don't know if it's because, so the house is underground, half underground. Like, this wall back here, it's all concrete and ground behind it. There's stairs back there leading up to the backyard. But my bedroom's at the very front of the house, and there is a big window. Most of the house does not have that, so I wonder if my room had just gotten colder at night, and I just hadn't realized it. You know, you kind of get used to those kinds of things. I wonder if that was what was bothering him, but he eventually got over it. And the couch was not comfortable. We ended up getting a new couch a little bit after that, but that couch was just, it was an older one, and it was not comfortable at all. But I still slept on it for him. Right after I gave birth, I was in the room, in the labor and delivery room still, and I had latched him. Leland was there. He was so excited. He held him for a little bit. I took a nap. My dad and his wife had come in with my brother and everybody. They got to hold the baby. I took a long nap. I don't know how long it was. I didn't know what time it was when I got up. I needed to sleep. Everyone got their turns to hold the baby. That was already there. They had left at some point while I was asleep, or I think I might have woken up for a little bit, and Dad had said that he was going to go. He loved us, whatever. I'm not for sure. I can't remember. It's kind of a blur. The birth is not something that I like to think about, because it's traumatizing, and in a way that a lot of moms don't want to talk about. It's scary. It's scary, and I don't get scared very easily when it comes to stuff like that, but that was truly scary, and it's not something I would want to go through again. But at the same time, I think about it, like, what if when I'm older and I do go through it again, like, everyone says it's not the same the second time around. So I don't know, it's just a scary thought, and thinking of the birth just makes me feel worried, even though it's already passed. But back to the story. Yeah, I had woken up and everything. I went to the bathroom. The nurses had to help me because I had that epidural. I could walk just fine, but just to make sure, because sometimes, you know, there's problems. And I was fine. I had packed my own adult diapers because I hate long pads with a passion. They always fold and go in places they shouldn't be going, and they're uncomfortable. I'm always one for the short ones, the teen pads. That's my thing. A lot of people prefer the long pads, but for me, it just, no thank you. So I brought my own adult diapers. I hated the Tux pads that you put on it. I felt like they just burned more, so I tried to avoid those as much as possible. But I loved ice, like ice packs, but I preferred a frozen cloth folded in half. It just fit better, and it was more comfortable. It worked. And then once I got settled into the room, my postpartum room, they had walked me across the hallway. It was just down the hall. I had went in there. They had Anthony and his little bassinet. Leland was in there. His mom was in there with his little sister. I love her. Love them both. And my mom was in there. And I had food on my little table thing that my mom had gotten me. I wasn't really able to eat it at that time. I didn't have as much of an appetite yet because I had just given birth. You know, I'm tired. When I'm tired, I'm not as hungry, and there was just a bunch of people that kept coming in and out, so I didn't really get a chance to eat it, but it was like spaghetti and then a thing of mixed fruit. I love fruit, specifically like strawberries and blueberries, grapes, love it, you know. I like fresh pineapple, it's good. But I didn't get a chance to eat that. I mean, I ate some of it, but not a whole lot. And I got settled into my room, and I had, after Leland's mom had left, I had the nurse come in, bring me some towels and everything. I took a shower and I peeked at it. Most moms do not do that because it's scary, and it was not what I was expecting to see at all. I wouldn't recommend. It's a little frightening. I had one stitch, which I didn't. So I had less than a 1st-degree tear on the side, so that made it a little bit more swollen than if you would not have torn at all. So that added a little bit to it, but it was not something I want to see ever again. So I showered. I don't like to feel dirty. That's ugh. So I showered. I got out, and my grandparents were there, and my stepdad was there, and I think my little sister, or she came later, I don't remember. And yeah, I mean, everybody got to hold the baby. My grandparents had brought a little baggie since they couldn't make it to the baby shower. There was other things going on that day. There was like a graduation party they had to go to, and so they had brought the little gift for me, and it had some baby sleepers. I think it had some onesies in it too, I'm not for sure. It was just some cute little stuff for the baby, and I loved those sleepers for him. They were amazing, and I'm so sad they don't make them in his size now, because I would love to buy those again. They were so cute on him. I'll put a little picture of my favorite one up here. And it was sweet. I was tired, obviously, and after they had left, my mom brought in this snack bag she made for me. It said Mama on it. She uses the bag now for her lunches, whatever. I forgot about it, and I just haven't used it for anything. I was like, you can use it, it's okay. But she had brought it in. It had all my favorite snacks in it. An energy drink. I hadn't had one in 9 months. I loved energy drinks for the longest time, and this was my favorite one. It didn't have as much caffeine as the rest of them that I used to drink, but it was a rock star. It was whipped strawberry, my favorite. And then it had like the little Muddy Buddies in it. I had all my favorite snacks. And then I had a little mini fridge and freezer in there, and she put Italian ice. Love Italian ice. It's amazing. I don't know what else to say. And yeah, I mean, that was nice. So I would snack on the little foods that I had in that little snack bag, big snack bag, while I was there. We stayed an extra night because Anthony's doctor wanted to come in and check on his circumcision before we left, and so that was whatever. Okay, let's back up a little bit. We're on like the 3rd night here. Yeah, so he had gotten his shots while I was asleep, and they said he did fine. Like, he did amazing with them. No, he didn't really cry. He cried for a second, but then he was fine, whatever. And then when they had come in, I felt like it was late at night when they came in to do his little thing. They collected blood in this little tube from his foot, and they put it on like this paper. Basically, I don't know what it is. I can't remember, but it was like a legal thing. Basically, they had to like send it into the state. I don't know if it's just to say that like he's a real person or what it is, but I guess it stays on file, or it gets shredded or something. I don't remember. I really don't. But basically they did that, and he didn't even know anything was happening. Like, he didn't cry, he didn't do anything, he was fine. And then after that, the nurse had came in and given him his first bath, which was really just washing his hair. And he loved it up until they hit the giant bruise on the top of his head where he had gotten, what's it called, that vacuum thing, because he was stuck. They used the vacuum on his head to pull him, and so he had a big bruise, and it was sad. He started crying. I have a video of it somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it was sad. Yeah. So then the next day, his doctor had come in, given us a little bit of information on his circumcision, asked if either of us wanted to go in there and watch. I didn't, I wanted to sleep, but his dad went in, and I guess he was fine. They gave him some sugar water to numb it, and he was fine. They were worried they didn't have a bell small enough to do it, and whatever, he was a newborn baby. You know, he was a cute little guy, and his feet were all curled in the way he was laying. It was sweet. And yeah, it was interesting doing all of this at 15. A lot of the signing things, everyone's like, I don't know if you need a co-sign or anything because you're underage or how it works. Most of the time I sign everything myself. His dad is about to turn 18. He's 17 right now. We met when we were 13 and 15. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. He was my first and only. We're still together. We plan on staying together. We're making everything work. We're doing amazing. It's hard with a baby, I will say that, and I would not recommend this to anybody who is not well equipped. I would not recommend teen pregnancy to anybody whatsoever. And definitely wouldn't recommend pregnancy to somebody who is not ready for it, because it's a lot. It's a lot of work and time and effort that you have to put into getting everything around and putting cribs together and making sure you have enough money for the diapers. And if you formula feed the formula, and I mean, I know there's WIC and things that can help, but there comes to a point where they need more than they can provide, and you have to come up with that, and you have to come up with everything else, and you have to figure out how to get the insurance going, and that took forever. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot. It's draining, and you also have to think about where your mental state is, because afterwards, I mean, a lot of people, I got lucky. I'll admit that I got lucky. My baby was sleeping through the night by the time we brought him home. He was sleeping 6 hours at night, and he was still gaining a lot of weight. So the doctor said just to keep doing whatever we were doing. He was doing great. He was breastfed for the first 3 months, and then I had to stop, and I miss it. I was a lot happier breastfeeding, but I don't have the energy or the time to constantly pump and pump and pump to build that back up and redo all of it. And I tried relactation, and then it went away one day. It just stopped, and it was upsetting. I mean, it hurt. I couldn't do what I was meant to do anymore, and it really makes you feel bad. But switching to formula, if it's what you have to do for your baby, it's what you have to do for your baby. And a lot of people think that just because you are a teen mom, that you're not the one taking care of your baby. I stopped going to school. I do online. I still do that. And I try to make sure my grades stay above where they have to, so that I am able to graduate and I am able to go to college. And I'm still setting myself up for these things. And I'm working on getting a part-time job right now. And his dad was recently laid off, and he's working on getting another job as well. We're working on doing all of this stuff because you have to. And I know some teen moms will just let their parents raise their baby, but that feels wrong. I stay home with him every day, all day long. I do nights with him. I mean, sure, my mother will hold him every now and then so I can eat something, or somebody else will hold him, or like other people will hang out with him. But the mental load and all of that is still on me to take care of him. He is my responsibility, and Leland's. He is his responsibility too, and he pitches in. He does. He tries hard, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And a lot of young moms, whether they're teens or early 20s, don't get a lot of credit for how much work they actually do put in, and it's hard. So I just like to throw that in there too. I think that's all I've got to say right now. I think we will be doing a Q&A video, me and Leland together, soon. So if you have any questions, if you have any like legitimate questions, just drop them in the comments below, and we will hopefully we will get to it. Hopefully we'll get to your question. If it's something immature or just random or doesn't make sense, we might not even acknowledge it, because this isn't a joke. It is a real struggle. It's a real thing, and some people will respect that and acknowledge it, some people will not. We can't control everybody. Yeah, and you can put video suggestions down below. I think we might do some vlogs. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with this yet, but this is a start. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all have an amazing day.